99.3 WAJK, 90s and now. This Saturday night in Columbus in LaSalle, DREAMWAVE Wrestling's big anniversary show, and a big special guest this week is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and we're joined by the one and only Hacksaw on the phone. How's it going, brother?
Well, great, Shep, but you know the first thing Hacksaw Jim Duggan has to do is give a big, oh! You know, kind of fires me up, gets the blood flowing in the morning.
I bet. All right, Hacksaw, you're one of the few wrestlers who actually wrestles under their real name, Jim Duggan. Why did you never change it?
Well, when I first started, I even actually started as Big Jim Duggan. I had short hair and clean shaven and wore a long gold bathrobe. And Vince McMahon Sr., Vince's dad, said, kid, he said, you might have a future, but come up with something better than Big Jim and get rid of the gold bathrobe. So I went through 2 or 3 different character changes before I became Hacksaw, and I just, was always kind of proud of my dad. My dad was my role model. His name was Jim Duggan, so I just kept using it.
How did you get started in wrestling?
Well, I used to be a football player, and I played my college ball for Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, where I met Fritz von Erich. And he suggested I become a wrestler. I was a jock back then. I had nothing to do with professional wrestling, and I was with the Atlanta Falcons in 77 and Toronto Argonauts in 78, and I started wrestling in 79, made this move over.
99.3 WAJK, chatting with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the WWE superstar. He's going to be at DreamWave this Saturday for their big anniversary show. Where did the idea of carrying a 2x4 to the ring come from? Are you a carpenter or a woodsman, or?
No, well, actually, back in the old days before sports entertainment came out, professional wrestling was, well, if you think it's fake, come up in the ring with us. And it was a very, actually a dangerous business. All the bad guys had to wait to the end to walk out to your car together. Fans would throw stuff at you. A lot of guys have been stabbed and shot at.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was a whole different business back in the day. And Bruiser Brody was kind of my mentor. He says, Duggan, if you carry something in the ring, carry something you can use. Forget the feathered boas and sequin robes. And so when I'd come out with that 2x4, in these... in the old days, the small, smoke-filled arenas that people were all jammed right there in the entryway, I'd come out with that 2x4. It was kind of like parting the Red Sea. They would scatter.
Just hearing some of the stories from the old time you're talking about here, Hacksaw, what's maybe the biggest misconception that people have, besides the sports entertainment aspect of it, but maybe something that they don't quite understand, or that they think it's one way in wrestling, but it's not?
The biggest misconception of professional wrestling that it's easy to be a professional wrestler. Mm-hmm. I tell people there's 1,500 NFL football players playing this year. There's 140, maybe 150 guys under contract with the WWE and TNA. Uh-huh. It's television. It's much more competitive than sports. I mean, it's a numbers game. Yeah. If you got 150 spots or 1,500 spots, which is a better opportunity to get? A lot of kids want those spots, and it's a very competitive business. They say, well, you guys are all good friends. I said, yeah, we all compete for the same money. We're real good buddies. It's a cutthroat, backstab business. It's a worldwide business. Huh. That's why I always joke. I do a lot of golf tournaments and fishing tournaments with the NBA and Major League Baseball. And I'm like, world champions? You guys ever been to Australia, Japan, Europe, South America? Come on.
Are you a pretty good golfer?
Well, I had my own celebrity golf tournament. I'm a cancer survivor, so I worked with the American Cancer Society. Yeah, and I had a Hacksaw Jim Duggan Celebrity Invitational down in Florida for about 3 years.
That's cool.
But, no, I'm not a good golfer at all, though. I carry a 2x4 in my bag and have a good time out there.
Do you hit the ball with the 2x4, too?
Pardon?
Have you ever hit the golf ball with the 2x4?
Oh, yeah, sure. You're going to be a wrestler, be a wrestler.
99.3 WAJK on the phone with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's going to be appearing at DreamWave Wrestling's anniversary show this Saturday night. Now, Hacksaw, I'm curious, your one eye sometimes in the ring would drift off to the side. What's the story there? Is it an actual condition you have, or?
Oh, yeah, actually, I have pretty thick glasses that all my friends kind of joke me about, but yeah, that's just kind of like a little bit of a handicap, but it's something that's never really bothered me. I see double sometimes.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I can't see too well. So people say, well, how do you wrestle? I said, well, the other guy's usually 6'5", 300 pounds and coming after you, so it's not hard.
So what's Hacksaw Jim Duggan up to these days? What are you doing nowadays with your life?
Well, I just finished with the WWE in January, just mid-January, so I've been wrestling for 31 years, so I just started doing some of these local shows, which are a lot of fun. Of course, DREAMWAVE is one of the better promotions in the country. I mean, there's a handful of real well-run independent shows. So it's a really family-friendly atmosphere, no obscene gestures, no profanity. It's just a fun night of wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like a different level of fun for you than what it is, wrestling in the giant stadiums, right? I mean, it's a little bit more personal.
It's a nice opportunity to get to meet the people.
Yeah.
And then after this long in the business, it's like to say thank you to the folks. You can have some great experiences on the road when you interact with the people. Because WWE, TNA, they always have security. It's hard to meet the folks.
Sure.
But, you can be at an autograph session, have a grown man come up, a hard-looking man, shake your hand and look you in the eye and say, let me tell you something, Jim Duggan, back in 1987, and share a story with you that we're actually unaware of, but really affected this man's life. It's sometimes it's kind of moving out there. It really is.
Now, Hacksaw, it's no secret that most wrestlers tan to keep up their appearance and skin tone. You don't look like the type of guy to go tanning, did you?
No, not too much. No, I'm not one of the GQ kind of guys. Guys like Flair and DiBiase, Terry Taylor. They'd be on the road for 3 months and their clothes would still have creases in them. I'm a sweatpants kind of guy.
Now, one of the topics we recently discussed here in 99.3 WAJK was tanning bed safety, it's the Fed is saying that tanning in your teens and 20s can significantly increase your risk of skin cancer. Now, you yourself are a cancer survivor. Do you think as time progresses, because wrestlers do, a lot of them do tan to keep up their golden god, that Hulk Hogan appearance. Do you think we're going to see less and less of that as time progresses?
Well, it'd be interesting to see more studies on tanning beds. I know that they're real prevalent all throughout the country, and any type of cancer, of course, you got to be aware of. And what happens with most people that they're afraid, as I was. I was passing blood, and my wife was like, "Well, go to the doctor." I'm like, "Well, I'm okay. It's no big deal." Mm-hmm. But I went in, and the doctor said, "Jim, it's cancer." It was the most terrifying ordeal of my life. I prayed and cried in my daughter's rooms. They were little girls at the time and just wanted to survive the disease. Yeah. But with the grace of God and early detection, not only my life was saved, but I was able to go back to the job that I love. Yeah. So that's what I stress to folks. If something is wrong, just go get it checked out, because nowadays they can do miracles. And that's a lot of things. Everyone wants to be a big tough guy. Oh, I'm fine. Maybe you're not. You got to get it checked out to make sure. Not just being a tough guy, just actually being scared, too. I mean, I don't want, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to find out, But you go in and find out, and they can fix it for you sometimes. All right, Hacksaw, about to let you go here, 99.3 WAJK, but what can people expect from you at DREAMWAVE Wrestling this weekend? Well, they can expect a Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Like I said, nothing fancy Dan about me. I'll just stomp on down to the ring, waving the flag, waving the 2x4, and do what Hacksaw Jim Duggan has done the best for 31 years, and that's to beat some people up. Tough guy, give me a hoe, Shaq, come on. Ho! You got to work on that hoe, kid.